full-service Aveda salon and spa, located in the heart of historic downtown Vermilion.
The scientific reason why you've been seeing so many dragonflies while walking to class.
Plus, Monday's Students of Color panel continued the conversation aimed at social change. Coyote News starts right now.
Live from the Al Newharth Media Center, this is Coyote News.
Hi, I'm Aaliyah Burgraff.
And I'm Kyle Ireland. We'll get to those stories and more, but first, the Commission on Presidential Debates is considering changes in its format following last night's debate between President Donald Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden. The debate included frequent interruptions, name-calling, and in one instance, President Trump declined to condemn an extremist group. The Debate Commission is considering microphone kill switches and other format changes for the next 2 planned meetings. The candidates for Vice President are debating Tuesday night.
Those seeking answers to racial injustices turned to a panel of students with their questions with an open forum conversation on Monday. The Center for Diversity in the Community hosted the Student of Color panel for students and social change in the Freedom Forum and live on their Facebook page. The panel gave students a chance to share their own views on how individuals can start a conversation about social change and to not forget about the youth.
And I think a big thing is just be factual. You know, if you can, for me personally, like if you have evidence to back up your claim, I can't invalidate what you're saying or what you're feeling. But if you're just making your things based on just sheer opinions and nothing to support that, then it's like, one will just say, well, you're just talking, you don't know what you're talking about.
I think it's really easy to look up to the people that are older than us. But you learn a lot from the ones that are younger than you. And you learn a lot from your little brothers and sisters, your little cousins. They're the ones that, you know, it feels like you might be laying down a path for them.
Comes in the wake of social unrest across the country in the hopes of opening people up to the ideas of social change. Moderator Ashley Charlie says she could see the panel becoming a yearly event so future students have the chance to share their own experiences. So Kyle, October finally is here tomorrow. Does this mean I can break out my sweaters?
Well, Aaliyah, I'm not quite sure about sweaters, but it's finally going to start cooling down as we head into the weekend. Right now, it's 68 degrees outside, with tonight's low dipping down to 41. Tomorrow will bring partly cloudy skies with a high of 58 and lows into the mid-30s. Friday brings a 10% chance of rain with a high of 61. And for your D-Days weekend, expect highs in the mid to upper 50s and lows down into the lower 30s. The chances of rain this weekend are slim, but with the lower temperatures, you might want to carry a jacket, just in case. And that's your Coyote weather.
Thanks, Kyle. On Monday, all student and faculty received an email from the university indicating they may be randomly selecting asymptomatic people to be screened for COVID-19. The testing will take place at the Sanford Vermilion Medical Drive-Thru or Walk-Up Clinic. The measures are underway to understand the background rate of COVID-19 at USD and find out where certain causes may be coming from on campus. The testing is voluntary but will be free if you happen to receive an email that urges you to get tested. To understand how this may affect you, a representative who helped create this new version of the Sentinel testing is live in the muck with Delaney Nillis. Delaney?
Thanks, Aaliyah. I'm here with Kevin O'Kelly,
I'm the Assistant Vice President for Research, Delaney.
Thank you. Kevin, after experiencing COVID symptoms, what steps should students take to do their part in flattening the curve?
Well, Delaney, the first thing is they should stay home and stay inside. We don't want anybody to be spreading disease outside to others. Then they should call student health at 677-3700. They probably don't have COVID-19, but they're sick. And we want them to stay home and get medical advice.
Thank you. And can you further explain the university's overall plan to protect the pack?
Yes, I can, Delaney. So we all know that people who are symptomatic can get tested at student health. Also, the close contacts of those who test positive can get tested at student health. But now we've added a third tier. Thanks to the Department of Health, we're now able to do sentinel testing. You probably know that up to half of the people with COVID-19 are non-symptomatic, asymptomatic, so they don't get tested. Now we're able to grab a random sampling from the population of asymptomatic people to try to get a handle on the background invisible case rate of COVID-19. We're very excited about the next step in our attack to flatten the curve.
All right, thank you. And how can students be aware of COVID on campus with holidays such as Halloween approaching?
So we don't have any treatment for COVID-19. All we have is prevention. So my advice to everybody is do everything you can to not breathe in air that somebody else just breathed out. Wear your mask. Keep 6 feet distant. I know it's difficult to do Halloween, holidays coming up and all of that, but it can be done. If you do need to be close to somebody, limit your circle of friends and don't hang out with strangers. Just stay with people you trust, people who you know are practicing physical distancing, mask wearing, hand washing, and that sort of thing.
All right. Thank you, Kevin. Live in the muck with Coyote News, I'm Delaney Nellis.
Thanks, Delaney. Even in the midst of a global pandemic, the university has reported their enrollment trends were not only able to stay stable, but reach a record-setting amount amongst new graduate enrollment. After releasing the official numbers last week, the total student headcount for both full-time and part-time students has decreased by a little under 5%, most of those being part-time students. USD expected these enrollment trends as COVID-19 has kept many from affording school across the country this semester. However, the graduate school grew by upwards of 118 new first-time students, with a bulk of those numbers enrolling in the Beacom School of Business and the School of Health Sciences.
Coming up on Coyote News, how one organization is promoting social distancing by hammocking.
I like shooting live because you have a greater responsibility. You get to go out, get hands-on experience in the field, and you know it's leading you to something great for the future. I really like the teamwork and being able to communicate with people. We all know what jobs we're supposed to be doing, and we all know what needs to get done. There's something about being live outside of the studio. Being on your own, it's just a different energy. I like being part of a team and working together to get the perfect interview. I think it's worth it from all the experience and all the skills you're going to get from it. It definitely helps you break down some barriers and opens you up to new experiences.
Lately, you might have seen one of these red stands around campus and wondered, hey, what's the volant? Well, actually, it's pronounced the volant. We've served as the student's voice since 1887. We capture the moments and the stories that matter and bring them to you for free on both digital and print platforms. News, verb, sports, opinion. It's important to you, it's important to us, because, well, we're one and the same. We're the Volant. Pick us up.
This is Coyote News.
In a typical academic year, more than 200 USC students travel abroad. But because of travel restrictions enacted at the start of this year's COVID-19 pandemic, that number is 0. Academic Affairs suspended spring 2021 international student travel in early September. The university isn't able to confidently provide a timeline for when student study abroad programs will resume. But Virginia Wilcox of the Gallagher Center encourages students to be patient and follow the guidance provided by health experts and USD. The Gallagher Center is working on summer travel programs, but has contingency plans in case students are still not able to travel.
Even though Dakota Days is without a football game this Saturday, that doesn't mean there aren't any events going on around campus throughout the week. Delaney Nellis is live in the muck right now with the organizers of the 106th Dakota Days to learn just what they have to offer. Delaney?
Thanks, Kyle. I'm here with Grant and Alex Deffenbach, the organizers of the 106th Annual Dakota Days. Keith, Alex, thank you for being here. Can you two explain the events happening this weekend for D-Days?
Yes, so Friday, we have Super Red Friday, which will be the D-Days committee and all the spirit teams plus the Sound of USD, and it will also be where we are crowning the Mr. and Mrs. Dakota.
And on Saturday, we have the Yo Olympics, and you can sign up by tomorrow at 3. There will be prizes for the top 3 teams, and you'll just be participating in like all the different sports activities that we'll be missing this fall.
And how was the the organization of the events different this year compared to last year?
Yeah, so this year we're trying to keep it like a community festival, embracing the community, the USD community, and students on campus.
Okay, and what plans do you have in action this D-Days to keep students safe from COVID?
So of course we're having them social distance and wearing masks at all the events, as well as we're trying to have as many events that we can outside to help stop the spread.
All right, thank you both. You can watch the Yote Olympics on Saturday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Live in the Muck with Coyote News, I'm Delaney Nellis.
Thanks, Delaney. As midterm exams approach, more than 200 members of the USD Hammocking Club are finding ways for students to get out, read, study, or take a nap. Hammock Club is a new campus organization that's giving students the opportunity to hang.
We're hoping by USD wanting to incentivize social distancing that they will help provide us possibly more funding to allow for our organization to flourish. Hammock poles are something that could last decades if we put them in right, and it's something that the university could benefit well past our time here.
Equipment is being available to all students and faculty that wish to join by emailing hammockclub.usd@gmail.com. Coming up on Coyote News, we learn about an insect that you may have seen while walking to class.
Your old man needs a seat at the restaurant. I want some breadsticks. Hello, I got a bell. Don't help me. I'm just gonna do. Oh yes!
This is Coyote News.
The walk to campus classes doesn't usually include swarms of insects, but lately students are noticing dragonflies basking in the sunlight. Coyote News investigated why there seems to be an increase in the perennial visit of the insects. The dragonflies migrate back to Vermilion early in the spring and remain until mid-November when the weather gets too cold for them to survive. According to Dr. Daniel Solik, a biology professor who specializes in researching dragonflies, this is a common occurrence.
Well, Vermilion is near the sort of migratory pathway that a lot of birds are following. And I'm imagining that these dragonflies that we see here in large numbers, they're following the river valley as well. So you'll see them here and in other parts. Large numbers will show up, usually starting in late August, mostly through September. Sometimes into early October, you can see large numbers flying.
Adult dragonflies, like what you would see around campus, are almost exclusively carnivorous, eating a wide variety of insects ranging from small midges and mosquitoes to butterflies, moths, damselflies, and even smaller dragonflies.
But dragonflies for around 300 million years have been specialist predators on insects, so they're really great at it.
For those looking to spot the quick-flying insects, the best time to find them is early in the morning catching some sun. The flower bushes in the Shakespeare Gardens and the grassy fields around campus are common areas where dragonflies will perch and absorb the sun's warmth. Take a walk around campus and you might catch a glimpse of them flying around. But the dragonflies aren't here for long.
USD's Fine Art Department produced a classic play with multiple twists last weekend. COVID-19 has caused many programs to adapt precautions within the classroom. USD's Fine Arts College created a stage play that adapted social distancing protocols and face coverings and still managed to tell a story. Haya Gordon-Bland is an associate professor of theater who helped lead the production.
This is a very exciting time for us. We are in the process of running our live production of Julius Caesar here at the University of South Dakota. Due to COVID-19, of course, that looks quite a bit different than it would under normal circumstances.
Traditionally, most major roles in Shakespeare's Julius Caesars were male actors. This production adapted gender-flexible casting, which allowed for more actresses to play male roles. Julius Caesar, Mark Antony, and many soldiers were played by females. More live stream plays are being produced for the future, including Angels and Demons, A Gentleman's Guide, and Chico's Monsters.
The Biomat USA Plasma Center, located on the west side of Vermilion, is actively seeking more people to donate, especially now in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic. With some USD students possibly looking for a resource of income, donating plasma at Biomat might be a solution. Biomat has been in Vermilion for over 4 years now, and they're currently offering new promotional packages that include bonuses for return donors and an increase in payment for first-time donations. Assistant Manager Quinn Thornton has been at Biomat for 3.5 years and understands the need for plasma donations.
There's so many people who are diagnosed with autoimmune disorders that we use the plasma treatments to treat. So a lot of that, those people basically live day to day by the treatments that we produce. And so we need so much plasma in order just to treat those people in a normal year. But in a worldwide pandemic, it's even more.
Thornton also spoke to the center's extensive cleaning protocols and use of PPE in response to COVID-19. Thornton advises any first-time donor to prepare themselves the day before by drinking plenty of water and eating high-protein meals. A step-by-step rundown of the donation process can be found on the Biomat website. So, Darian, I heard the football team finally got their spring schedule.
We sure did, Kyle. We'll learn about that and more next in Kyle Sports.
The Vermilion Area Arts Council believes the vibrant presence of the visual, performance, and literary arts is essential to a sustainable community, so come get creative at the VAC.
Gallagher Center for Experiential Learning and Education Abroad provides students once-in-a-lifetime opportunities through many of our student-centered programming.
Through the Gallagher Center, I can find experiences such as service learning, study abroad, national student exchange, and undergraduate research.
Visit our website to learn more about all the cool things you can do through the Gallagher Center.
This is Coyote News.
Welcome back. I'm Darian Bolden, and these are your Kyle Sports. This Sunday's NFL game featuring the Tennessee Titans and the Pittsburgh Steelers has been rescheduled for Monday or Tuesday following 9 total positive cases of COVID within the Titans team and staff. The Titans, as well as their previous opponent, the Minnesota Vikings, have halted all in-person club activities as of yesterday and will not be able to meet again as a team until at least Saturday. According to league officials, both quarantine teams are working closely with the NFL and the NFLPA in hopes to safely be back on the field. After being suspended until further notice through the fall semester, the USD football team finally has a schedule for the spring of 2021. The Yotes are scheduled to play 8 games and will be back in the Dakota Dome on Friday, February 19th to host Western Illinois. Other notable matchups include the Yotes hosting last year's FCS champions, North Dakota State, on March 20th and traveling to Brookings on April 10th for a rematch after defeating the Jackrabbits last season. The Vermilion Tanagers look to snap their 3-game losing streak as they took on Sioux Falls Christian Chargers in Sioux Falls on Friday. The Tanagers were unsuccessful as they fell to the Chargers 33-23, putting their regular season record at 1-4 and their league record at 0-3. The Tanagers' next game is going to be at the Dakota Dome Friday night at 7 against West Central. The Tanagers volleyball team had a pair of games last week. On Monday, the team traveled to Garrettson to take on the Blue Dragons. The girls were unable to win any sets and were swept by the Blue Dragons. Senior Ariana Hale and sophomore Kelsey O'Neill both finished the game with a team-high 4 kills for the Tanagers. The next night, the girls traveled to T to take on the Titans. After losing a close first set, the girls quickly fell behind and were swept again, losing to the Titans 3-0. The girls will be back at home tomorrow night against South Sioux City at 7:30. Both Tanager soccer teams were back in action this past week. The boys played their final regular season game at home against Sioux Falls Christian, who were their only loss of the season so far. And that would soon be their second, as the Chargers scored 4 goals in each half to win the game 8-2. The loss would make the Tanagers' final regular season record set at 4 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw. The girls saw the Dakota Valley Panthers last week and were able to close out a close game with the 1-0 victory over the Panthers. The win put their overall record at 4 wins, 2 losses, and 4 draws. The girls played Sioux Falls Christian at home last night, but no final score has been reported. The Tanagers will be back at home tomorrow afternoon against Dakota Valley at 4. And that's all for your Coyote Sports. Coming up on Coyote News, we learn which students are ready to set sail.
Lately, you might have seen one of these red stands around campus and wondered, hey, what's the volant? Well, actually, it's pronounced the Volant. We've served as the student's voice since 1887. We capture the moments and the stories that matter and bring them to you for free on both digital and print platforms. News, verb, sports, opinion. It's important to you, it's important to us, because, well, we're one and the same. We're the Volant. Pick us up.
This is Coyote News.
As the seasons change, students may be thinking of ways to spend time outdoors, including an imaginary trip on the water.
In this week's Out and About, we asked what students would name a boat if they had one, and where they would travel to.
And here's what they had to say.
I'd probably name it after my mom. I have no idea what I would name it. I would name him Toby. I'd name it Jasmine.
I think I would name it Charlie. I guess I'd name it the Voyager.
So I have a boat. It's called the Tin Can because it's like a little 12-foot dinghy.
Something cheesy like Caribbean Breeze. And I'd name it Sterling.
I would name it after my grandma. Little boat. Like Nemo or something.
I'd name it Free Throw because I can't ever sink it. And
name it the SS Cash Money.
And I'd probably go sailing somewhere.
I'd probably go to Greece.
I'd go to the Pacific and I'd fish.
And I would go to like Bora Bora. And I'd go to New Zealand.
And I'd take it to the Pacific.
And I'd go to Delaware.
I'd probably take it to South Africa, definitely.
So I used to have a boat when I was little, and it was called the SS Minnow, but I've heard that you're supposed to name your boats after women to make them lucky, so I'd probably name mine the SS Margaret or something.
Yeah, I've heard that too, but I don't know. I've always been partial to the name Reginald, so I'd probably name my boat that.
Reginald, okay.
Where would you go?
I think I'd probably go to Norway. It would probably be cold, but I think I could get used to it.
No, I've heard they have really good food there. And speaking of food, tomorrow marks the beginning of October, and people are already getting into the Halloween spirit by growing pumpkins that weigh over 1,000 pounds. That includes 8 pumpkins that were weighed at the 16th annual Utah Giant Pumpkin Growers event, setting a new state record. Coming in first place was local farmer Mohammed Sadiq, who grew the second largest pumpkin to ever be grown in the state, weighing in at 1,825 pounds. The Utah Giant Pumpkin Growers will be hosting their second weigh-in on October 10th. That is a massive pumpkin.
I don't know what's in the water in Utah because I can't grow a potato, and that doesn't even really leave the ground.
Yeah, I don't know what would you even do with a pumpkin that large?
I'd carve it and scare people, hide inside for Halloween. I have no idea. I don't know what I'd do with a pumpkin that big. Probably make a lot of pumpkin pie.
Ooh, good move.
Well, so be sure to pick up this week's issue of The Volant, out today with a story about how a couple of football players launched a podcast while in quarantine.
That's all for Coyote News. Be sure to like us on Facebook, as well as follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
And be sure to watch and listen for Coyote News daily updates throughout the week on KAOR and the Coyote News social media pages.
Thank you, and have a great night.